Alright, so this video may trigger a lot of people, but I just have to say it. If you're someone that is emotional or emotionally unstable, you are weak because you are showing to others that you can't control yourself. You can't control something that you can control, and you are letting it take control. And so you're acting upon how you feel rather than what is logical. And so even though it ends up being you're the one that ends up suffering the consequences. You still do it anyways because you can't control it. And so there are many Bible verses that go against this. It goes against being emotionally acting upon emotion. The first verse is to hold every thought captive. Because you see, when you think things, often when you think things because you're acting upon the emotion. So if you're angry, you're going to think about doing things. You're going to think about angry things. You're going to think about, how should I get back at this person? The Bible says you should not fight others that fight you, or you should not like hurt someone else because they hurt you. And so if you never actually acted upon that emotion in the first place, if you held that thought captive and you were like, wait, hold up, I know I'm very angry right now, but instead of actually acting upon that anger, I'm gonna actually take a step back and cool down. That is someone that can control their emotions. And so like it's funny because I was at work like the other day, and it was literally like one of my coworkers. They were like, "Yo, like this man, like how does he not get mad?" Like there's sometimes it began a little like crazy right at work, and they're like, "Yo, like how does this dude motives? How is he so controlled? How is he so cool? How does he have such a like calm temper, right?" And I'm like, bro, my nerves, like low key, my nerves have trained past failure. Like at this point, like bro, like I don't even care. Like I don't even let the emotion, because I've had so many things that like controlled my emotions, like family things and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, it's not even worth it. Like if someone gets mad, bro, I'm like, bro, they're low key like, I just see it as a thing that's gonna happen and then they're gonna move on from it. So why should I get stuck on it? Why should I get riled up? Why should I let my emotions stir up and cause even more consequences, right? It's like adding fuel to the fire. Like if someone else is on fire and you get mad at them, you start your own fire, it's only gonna make the fire way bigger, right? So why not just stop it all in the first place? You could be the one to stop the action or the suffering of others if you just stopped letting your emotions take over. The Bible also talks about not worrying. You see, worrying is a sign of fear, and that is an emotion that can often take over, right? I know like fear, like sometimes fear, like fear in the Lord is a good thing. Fear of you not being great and acting upon that fear and actually taking action upon that fear, that's a good thing. But if you're gonna let this fear like stagnate you and hold you back, then that's an emotion that you do not want to have. So it literally says in the Bible, like, do not fear, for I am with you. Like, we often fear because we fear of being alone or being lonely, or when we die, like, there's no one else out there. But Jesus is out there. Jesus is with us. He's always for us. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and forever. And so that is why fear is a very strong emotion, and a lot of people suffer from this emotion. They don't know how to handle it because they let it take control. And so that's why, like, if you read the word, low key, the Bible says, who do you have to fear? Why do you have to fear man? You should only fear the creator, the creator that can destroy both flesh and soul. But again, like I said, there are emotions that are actually good, like love. You know what I'm saying? Like if you take action upon love, that's a good emotion. But if you're controlled by your emotions, you're emotionally unstable, you can't think based on what is logical, but rather you think or act upon your emotions, this is literally going to hold you back, because there's also emotions of feeling uncomfortable. Now, you have to be uncomfortable in certain situations, right? In order to break out of that comfort zone. But a lot of people, we want to be comfortable. And so when we get uncomfortable in certain things, like if we try to do the hard work, like if you're on your phone and you're scrolling and you're like, man, I know I gotta go to the gym today. I know I gotta put in that work, but that's too uncomfortable. And then you go right back into your pleasure. You go back into trying to feel good. Then that is not a good thing. That's not a good thing, because now you're letting that uncomfort turn back into comfort. And so you're letting that basically your emotion is dictating your actions. And so by you doing this, you will never be disciplined because you're only going to act upon emotion. You're only going to act upon how you feel. Like if you feel good, then you're going to keep doing it. But if you don't feel good, then you're not going to do it. And so how will you actually level up? Like how will you actually get healthy? You know, eating healthy is sometimes uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. When I first started my self-improvement journey, like low key, when I stopped eating like ice creams, you know, I was eating ice creams. I'm like, man, bro, like this is something that I literally enjoy doing. Like I enjoy eating. Like it literally brings me joy, right? Because you know what I'm saying? I was skinny fat Tibbs in the building. And so once I started to eat healthy, it was uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. At first, it was very uncomfortable. I was like, bro, why do I gotta eat all these like clean foods, you know, just to lose a few pounds? But then I realized that was the best thing for me. Even though I felt uncomfortable doing it, I still did it anyways because that is what is logical. I didn't act upon the emotion. If I continued to favor my emotions, I would have just went back to eating ice creams. I would have went back to going on the hub. That's another thing. We often give into temptation because it brings us a feeling, an emotion of pleasure, of satisfaction. Because we're thinking we're getting that action, that hey, hey, hey. But in reality, you're just in your dark, crusty room, literally touching your own glizzy to random pixels on a screen. You're literally busting your life force away to pixels on a screen, to people that that they don't even know that you exist. Yet you still do it every single day. Why? Because you chase after that emotion. You chase after the feeling of pleasure. And so this is what is actually holding you back because you're in this delusional state, this infinite genjutsu of pleasure. And so realistically, you think you're getting benefits from it, but in reality, it's just destroying you. But it is actually possible to feel these same exact emotions that you feel from instant gratificational activities like going on the hub with other activities. Like low key, when you go to the gym, when you eat clean, like at first, it's not gonna seem good or feel good. It's actually gonna feel really bad. But once you persevere through that suffering, you know, the Bible says when we go through suffering, you gotta rejoice in it. Why do we rejoice? Because we know that we survived and we endured and went through that suffering and we stood out on top. And so you're gonna feel good. Like even though at first it sucks, it feels bad, you're gonna feel good about it later on because now you know that you persevered it through that suffering. You persevered and you went through all that hard work, that discipline, going to the gym for months, maybe even years, eating clean, and now you stand out on top and now you get that same, in fact it's better pleasure, it's healthy pleasure. You're getting that pleasure of like, yo, I made it, I really did all this work, I put in that work and I surpassed my limits. But when you go on the hub, when you eat junk food, you get the same pleasure, or you might feel better at that moment, but later on you're gonna feel like dog doo-doo. Don't let your emotions take the best of you. Act upon what is logical, what is best for you, what is the actual logical solution to the problems or to the scenario that you're currently facing. Because if you act upon emotion, it's only acting upon what you feel at that moment or what you think feels good to you, but it's gonna have consequences later on. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Stay blessed, stay wealthy, and remember to keep surpassing your limits. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.